If you've got your Bible, you can turn there. I don't have a PowerPoint for us this morning, but if you have your Bible, you can turn to 1 Kings chapter 3. And I want to read for you why I believe King Solomon was the wisest man who ever lived. Starting in verse 1 of 1 Kings 3, it says, Solomon made a marriage alliance with Pharaoh, king of Egypt. He took Pharaoh's daughter and brought her into the city of David until he had finished building his own house and the house of the Lord and the wall around Jerusalem. The people were sacrificing at the high places, however, because no house had yet been built for the name of the Lord. Solomon loved the Lord, walking in the statutes of David his father, only he sacrificed and made offerings at the high places. What we're reading is that there is not yet a temple where people could come and make their sacrifices to God. So they were making these sacrifices in various places around Jerusalem. And it talks about Solomon was doing that. Why? Because he loved the Lord. He was already worshiping God as best as he could. In fact, it goes on, and the king went to Gibeon to sacrifice there, for that was the great high place. Solomon used to offer, listen to this, 1,000 burnt offerings on that altar. His whole heart was devoted to the sacrifice and worship of God. At Gibeon, the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream by night, and God said, ask what I shall give you. Go ahead. Can you imagine? I wonder what we would ask for if God came to us and said, you name it, it's yours. I love that you have devoted yourself to me. I love that you're willing to sacrifice everything to me, and in return, I will give you anything you want. What would we ask for? I wonder if our mind would go back to those things that are our favorites in life. An endless supply of sandwiches. How about shoes as far as the eye can see? Or a whole stable full of race cars? I wonder what we would ask for. Maybe we would be less superficial than that. Maybe we would say, peace in my family. Or we would say, I just wish that people wouldn't argue and fight so much. I wonder what we would ask for. Well, Solomon said in verse 6, you have shown great steadfast love to your servant David, my father, because he walked before you in faithfulness, in righteousness, and in uprightness of heart toward you. And you have kept for him this great and steadfast love, and have given him a son to sit on his throne this day. In other words, Solomon is saying, you've already blessed me. You've done so much. What could I ask for? And now, O Lord my God, you have made your servant king in place of David my father, although I am but a little child. I do not know how to go out or come in. And your servant is in the midst of your people, whom you have chosen, a great people, too many to be numbered or counted for multitude. And here's his request. Give your servant, therefore, an understanding mind to govern your people, that I may discern between good and evil. For who is able to govern this, your great people? What was Solomon asking for? He said, I recognize your sovereignty. I realize where you have placed me, and it is a very daunting thing. And all I want is to give glory to you. You've put me in a place where I need to govern your people, and the only way that's going to happen in a way that glorifies you is if I have a mind that is wise. Help me to understand situations. Help me to go beyond knowledge. And as we get into Ecclesiastes, you'll see that Solomon actually has a problem with great knowledge. He says great knowledge leads to great problems. He didn't ask for more knowledge. He asked for the ability to determine and understand knowledge and the things that are going on around him. Well, verse 10 says, it pleased the Lord that Solomon had asked this. And God said to him, because you have asked this, and have not asked for yourself long life, or riches, or the life of your enemies, but have asked for yourself understanding to discern what is right, behold, I now do according to your word. Behold, I give you a wise and discerning mind, so that none like you has been before you, and none like you shall rise after you. Wow. I give you also what you have not asked, both riches and honor, so that no other king shall compare with you all your days. And if you will walk in my ways, keeping my statutes and my commandments as your father David walked, then I will lengthen your days. And Solomon awoke, and behold, it was a dream. Then he came to Jerusalem and stood before the ark of the covenant of the Lord, and offered up burnt offerings and peace offerings, and made a feast for all his servants. And from that time forward, until Solomon was a very old man, he was the wisest man that ever walked the planet. He understood these things, but he also knew that that gift of wisdom was not a gift just for him. And he wrote down hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of proverbs and sayings and different things through what we call the books of wisdom. Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon, Proverbs. And he wrote down those things of that, how he understood, so that we could benefit from Solomon's great wisdom. And I think we should pay attention to the things that Solomon had to say.